And again celebrates with the front double bicep. Look at this guy. Looks like a freaking bodybuilder. Perhaps he's a powerlifter, bodybuilder, boxer. What can he not do? Perhaps he's following in Larry Footsteps' shoes. Coach Greg, in today's video, we got the world's strongest teenager who's literally going to break Larry Wheels' bench press record. And so he's 19 years old. He still has 9 months left as a teenager, and he wants to break the world's heaviest bench press for a teenager. His current PR, 540. Larry Wheels, 565. And so his name is Matthew Ford. He's 6 foot tall, 240 pounds. And what makes this even more shocking, as if it's not shocking enough, this guy was a former boxer. He's only been lifting weights for 2 years. Imagine lifting for over 2 years and already bench pressing 530. His goal today, to bench press 550. But imagine he was having such a great day lifting with all these superstars that he goes for an attempt at 540. He's only 19. He's got 9 months left as a teenager. And so is he going to get it? Does he in fact get injured? Well, spoiler alert, he felt a tweak on his pec following this bench press. And Larry Wheels responded, "You're going to have to try and fight me if you're going to try another PR."
Potentially 550 pounds and maybe even turn pro this year. So I really high hopes for you. I'm rooting for you. My best of 19 was 565.
And so starting out this video, Larry had no idea that he was going to try to break his record. He says, "You're very close. My PR, 565 pounds. So anyone who can bench anything near Larry Wheels is a true freak, a true phenomenon." And where is his limit? If he's already this strong at 19, will he eventually bench press 700, 800 pounds? Only time will tell.
We're going to be, doing a top single, triple, and AMRAP? What's the plan for today?
And so when you have 4 guys going for 1 rep maxes in the gym, especially with Larry Wheels, we all know the curse of Larry Wheels. Even Larry knows about it. And so we have to be careful. We need to avoid ego lifting in the gym. And so hopefully they don't put on more weight that they can handle. We don't want to see anyone get hurt.
I wish I can do flat bench with these gorillas, but rotator cuff still recovering from all the incline barbell abuse. So I will pass on this, but I will do flat dumbbells.
And Larry, showing he's getting smarter with age, he has a rotator cuff injury. He's not going to be benching. He's saying, "This is not for me. It's too dangerous." He's going to spot these lifter. He's not going to do a lift when he knows he could potentially get injured.
You're gonna hold this. You're gonna break the floor, dude. Fuck. Woo, you got the whole bench.
I'm feeling strong.
And as they begin to warm up, one thing I don't understand is why people warm up with such light weights and hardly do any reps. 45 pounds for 3 to 5 reps. To me, that is not a warm up. That is not even getting out of bed. I mean, if it's only the bar, why not do 15 reps? Why are we doing only 3? And as we move heavier and heavy weights, 135, 225, 315, and so on, why are we only doing 3 reps? I feel like the lighter the weight, the higher the warm up should be. And as the weight gets heavier, you can do fewer and fewer reps. You're trying to increase blood flow, you're trying to get a pump, you're trying to warm up the muscle, and so if you're doing such low reps, you're not going to be as pumped up, as warmed up as you could be if you're doing higher reps. Now, I get it. As the weights get heavier, you're warming up, it's 495 on the bar. Obviously, you're not going to go for a set of 5. But when the weights are very light, it makes more sense to do higher reps as you warm up.
Come on. Easy. Fast.
And so you can see once they hit 315, they're only doing 1 rep. When I was benching in the 500s, when I did 315, I normally would press it for 8. I felt like that was a very easy number. Remember, I could get it for 32 reps. And so 8 felt like a good number to get a pump, to get warmed up, and allow me to feel the weight.
You can either grab it with your hand like this right here, or you can wrap this around your thumb. But I like to grab it here. Go behind your hand. Wrap it tight, come down underneath the palm.
And imagine, this kid is this strong, he does not yet know how to properly wrap his wrist. He's learning from the experts, men who have been there before. They've been in his shoes. This I love to see. He's learning from people that know more than him. He's young, he's eager, he has such amazing genetics, so much potential. And so glad to see these lifters take him under their wings.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And one thing I want to point out, that these are touch and go reps. They are not pauses. Touch and go reps, far more dangerous than when you pause. When you pause the weight, you have to go slower on the eccentric. You're not building up as much momentum. And so it's a lot safer. Not only that, you can't lift as much weight. And so the chances of injury are far lower. When I was younger, I used to do touch and go reps all the time. But as I got stronger, I noticed I was getting some tweaks, some slight pains in my chest. And I said, it's just not worth it. From that moment on, whenever I lifted very heavy, I always paused the weight of my chest. Seeing so many people get pec tears, injuries, and so on, I felt it's not worth it. Also, the principle of specificity. If you're trained to be a powerlifter, when you're in competition, you have to pause the weight on your chest. And so why train in a different fashion than you are going to be performing on stage? It doesn't make sense. One man spoke of how he could bench press 300 kilograms, 660, but it was touch and go. And he only had 5 days to prepare for a competition. And so he entered the competition and only got 525 pounds to count, which is of course amazing. But in comparison to 660 pounds touch and go, it's not all that impressive. He went up to 550 and he got the weight, but he got called because he was sinking the bar into his chest. Essentially, he was trying to bounce the weight up. And so don't take into account how difficult it is to actually perform a legal bench press on stage versus when training in the gym.
Now I should try it again. What was that last time? 225?
225. I mean, you had it, it's just dropped when you were...
And so we're seeing now with the wrapping his elbow. This is the same thing as when you see people wrapping their knees. It's compressing the joint, compressing the elbow, and it's going to make the weight feel a lot easier. Just think of it. It's pressing down on the joint, and so as you bend the arm, it's literally pushing the arm up. It's making the weight a lot easier. And so in actuality, if he were to go into a competition and try to bench this way, it wouldn't be legal. And so what this doing, it's artificially inflating the bench press. Yes, I do agree with using it, as many people have injuries, pains in the tendons, the elbows, and so on. But if you're trying to legitimately tell people how much you can actually bench press and you want an accurate number, you can't use these lifting straps. It's going to give you a significant advantage.
This will be 495, right? He's aiming for 550, so he needs to add 55 pounds. I'd hit this.
Now 550. Yeah, absolutely.
And so they're debating what weight should he do next. He's saying go for 500 pounds, then 550. To me, this is not a very good jump. You want to jump less each and every time. And so considering he went from 405 to 455, it wouldn't make sense to then jump 45 pounds to 500 pounds and then jump 50 pounds to 550. And remember, his PR is 530. There's no reason to set a 20-pound PR. Although if perhaps he did 530 without the elbow straps and is adding the elbow straps, that's going to give him an additional 20 pounds. And so perhaps that makes sense. But what I'd rather see is more warm-up sets to make sure he's primed and ready for this lift. Perhaps 495 for a 40-pound jump, then 530 for a 35 jump, and from 530 to 550, a 20-pound jump. That would be more in line with what you would see in a powerlifting competition.
Come on! Yeah! Oh yeah!
And another easy lift with 495 pounds. And what I watched was Larry was still holding the bar as he began to descend. I would prefer to see Larry let go of the bar and allow him 1 or 2 seconds before beginning the descent. When in a powerlifting competition, they give you a lift off, but they then have to get out of the way so the judges can see clearly what you're doing. The judge will then say start. You have to wait for this command. And so it doesn't make sense to descend the weight this quickly. In a real powerlifting competition, you're going to have to hold the weight for perhaps multiple seconds. And so why not get used to it right now? It's one thing to have a big gym lift, but it's another thing to set a legitimate powerlifting record in competition.
For me, it'll probably be based on how 640 moves. 640, 675, 7.
And notice the stronger of the bunch says, yes, I would like to bench press 700 pounds, but it's going to be based on how I feel at 640 and following that 675 before lifting 700. Notice 640 to 675, that's a 35 jump followed by a 25 jump. And he is a lot stronger. And so does it not make sense that if the stronger athlete is jumping by 35 and 25 pounds, and dare I say the weaker athlete who's benching well over 500 should not be jumping by less than 35 and 25 pounds? And so I don't like to see this big a jump, as it's much more likely that you're going to get injured. You need to learn how to press. He's only 19 years of age. He's been lifting 2 years. Can he not learn from perhaps doing his next set with 530, getting used to that, and then seeing how that feels and following that with 550?
Come on! All right. Yep! Come on, buddy!
And already taking a deep breath, several deep breaths, the smelling sauce slapped in the back. I don't think I could get up from that slap. This guy's about to bench his PR 550 pounds.
Make it look easy!
And does it with ease, celebrates with the front double biceps, showing off the 19-inch arms. Kid's got 19-inch arms at only 19 years of age. Very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
I think maybe
585 is in the book right there.
could be, man.
Guys, it's already a PR. And listen, I get it. The dopamine rush is high. It's kind of like when you snort creatine. Perhaps you get used to that feeling. You want to do it again and again and again and again. And yeah, it's time to stop. It's now 9:30 and it's next Thursday. Please be careful. Every time you go for a PR, you're putting your body at risk. Just like every time you try and snort creatine, you're also putting your body at risk. And so please be more cautious than last time. The dopamine rush, it's so high after you did that first PR. My advice would be to save it for another day. But I get it. You're in a Larry Wheels video. Perhaps the 550 was so much easier because of the elbow straps. And so nothing wrong with this. Larry Wheels all-time record 565. And so I see nothing wrong, no harm with him going for 570.
Still got 9 more months.
9 months.
9 more months, man.
My best at 18 was 520.
Ooh.
So
I'm thinking back to when I was 18 years of age, 18 and 19. Remember, I could bench press 345, thinking I was an animal. That was a very big bench. This guy, the same age, bench pressing over 200 pounds more than mini Coach Greg.
Yes.
Come on, bro.
Show me some power. Come on.
And Larry Wheels announces it, the strongest teen ever. Let's see this lift.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Come on. Yes.
And so look at the energy behind this guy. Be careful, guys, a former boxer. Don't punch his fist harder than last time. You might break it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He touched an inch too high than normal. I was so nervous. He touched higher than he was on every other set.
And so they're saying he touched the bar an inch too high compared to every other set, but I'm not concerned with that. I do believe that that was his sweet spot. It looked to be an excellent lift. I don't know if he could have got 5 more pounds. And so to me, that is enough to call it a day. There's no way he should be attempting more PRs. This was his 1 rep max. And again, celebrates with the front double bicep. Look at this guy. Looks like a freaking bodybuilder. Perhaps he's a powerlifter, bodybuilder, boxer. What can he not do? Perhaps he's following in Larry Footsteps' shoes.
Matt's saying to me, he said, I feel a small, kind of pull, maybe a niggle in his chest, and he's thinking he wants to do a 405 unwrap. And I said, listen, if you ask Larry's going to say, don't do it, play it safe.
Yeah.
But I said...
And so Larry Wheels saying, I recommend you don't do it. Matthew wants to now go for an AMRAP with 405. His PR is 12. He's felt a tweak in his chest, so he's slightly injured his chest. Not ultra serious, but obviously it could get a lot worse. He now wants another PR. You don't need to do this. Save your PRs for another day. You've already hit an amazing accomplishment. Why ruin it by potentially getting injured?
Wait, so hold on. You said you felt a little twinge in your pec?
after the 570,
Yeah, so you're going to have to fight me if you're doing 4 or 5 more AMRAP today.
Why risk it? Remember, leave the egos at the door. You've just set a PR. It's recorded, it's filmed. No one can take that away from you. Save the 405 for next time. There's no reason to do this on this day. And in case you're wondering, which you're probably not, my best with 405 is 15 repetitions. I'm certain this guy is going to press 405 for more than 15 before he turns 20.
everything, the warm-ups felt mint, and it's just
This is why I don't tell him.
after the fight, just a little pull in my left pec.
Yeah, that's how it works. The chance of getting injured when you're warming up a lot lower than when you're actually hitting that 1 rep max. That's why it's very dangerous when doing the bench press, going for 1 rep maxes. Why we don't bench 1 rep maxes every time. If you keep doing that, you're bound to get injured. And not to mention, we're not talking about guys who are lifting natural. This is not lifting in a natural environment. When you're not natty taking supplements, the tendons, ligaments, they don't get as strong as quickly as the muscles, and they're more likely to get injured. And so his body is now primed to get injured. But if you do want to stay natural, of course you can use harder than last time supplements. For example, G-Test to boost testosterone. We also have Ecti Builder and Turk Builder. These are various Ecti steroids that can help you put on more muscle than last time. Also, don't forget GO2 Max, my #1 selling supplement for endurance, contains NMN, also pre-workouts, pump, hardcore stim pre-workout, protein powders, so much on the website. Don't forget, if you're interested in any of this, Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description.
And look, you come back next week, you do 4 or 5 or maybe 20 reps. You know, so you're gonna come back fully healed and have many more PRs.
And so Larry says, biggest mistake as a teenager, I was rushing it. I wanted a PR faster than last time. I didn't want to rest, didn't want to wait. And yeah, it works out great until you get injured. And so please take Larry Wheel's advice. Be cautious. Save it for next time. You've hit a PR. You don't need to train harder anymore. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the training books, the Circle Diet book, the Cookbooks 3.1, it's out. PDF, hard copy, pick the ones you want. Head over to my website. If you don't have any money, get the free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. Become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. All of it on the website. And until next time, I am out.